So gun violence has been reaching a fever pitch, and a lot of ideas are being thrown around about how to reduce it. Let's bring in a couple of guests who know a thing or two about fighting crime. Derek Maltz, former special agent in charge of the DEA Special Ops Division, and Martin Preib, former second vice president of the Fraternal Order of Police in Chicago. Gentlemen, welcome.
How you doing?
Derek, President Biden says it's time to get rid of the guns. Is he correct?
Of course he's correct that you have to get rid of guns in the bad guys' hands. But the good guys need guns to protect themselves. Right now, it's like the Wild West throughout America, right? These pro-criminal policies and soft-on-crime policies have failed miserably. Last summer, when our cities were burning down, but our vice president was supporting the bail funds to get the rioters out of jail, was an indication that we were going to have some problems. If you look at the cartel activity, you look at the open borders, the bail reforms, the guns, and you look at the escalating crime, I mean, nobody should be surprised. Action speaks louder than words. Having a meeting with a bunch of law enforcement professionals is not good enough. We need accountability on the president, the White House, and our local elected leaders. And our police are ready to do their job. Unfortunately, the retirements are soaring. We have really experienced police officers that are retiring because they don't like being targeted.
Right.
And their families are being targeted. So we have to turn this around, but I think police are very resilient, and they're out to do the job to protect the American citizens.
Some progressives thought defunding the police would be wise, but the D.C. mayor today said, not here.
My budget includes 100 new officers, 200 new police cadets, and next year I actually think we'll be able to do a little bit more. But it also includes violence prevention efforts to the tune of $59 million.
Martin, do you agree with her, and how do you see the problem?
I agree with that. I agree with the other gentleman as well. The cops are getting a lot of guns off the street in Chicago, so they are getting the guns off the street, but the fundamentals are not being addressed. And one of the major issues is the prosecutors are not prosecuting. In Chicago, we have a terrible prosecutor in Kimberly Fox. She's transformed her office into an advocacy to criminals. And there's a deep distrust and an antagonism between the police and the prosecutor's office. And we've gone 4 years without a contract in Chicago. The police have gone 4 years without a contract. So I agree, but we have to get our fundamentals down. And it's not just defunding the police. As you earlier said, there's these bizarre, ridiculous legislative campaigns and laws that are being passed that virtually frame the police and make it, there's a movement on the far left to criminalize local police departments. And I think this is very dangerous and making the job more and more difficult and burdensome. And the elected leaders have to get behind the police if they want to quell this violence.
From the
go ahead.
Sorry, from the ABC Washington Post poll at the end of June, President Biden has a 38% approval on crime, 48% disapprove. Derek, what does the Biden administration need to do to turn that around?
Well, for one, we have to respect the police. We have to support them. We have to provide them the tools and the training. They need technology. The bad guys have the latest and greatest technology. They don't have bureaucracy. They don't have the government beltway getting in their way. We need the agencies to have the sophisticated facial recognition, the communication exploitation software, the NIBIN access to the ballistics of the firearms, also the license plate reader programs. There's some really unbelievable technology, but it's very expensive. So we need to make sure we get the tools to the law enforcement, get the respect back, and also start putting criminals in jail. And like the other guest said, the prosecutors have to be held accountable. The agencies are bringing the crimes to the prosecutors, and they refuse to prosecute. They're letting the bad guys free, but they're handcuffing the police. They have this backwards. They have to turn it around, and they have to do it quick because people are really frustrated, and our American citizens that pay a lot of taxes expect more.
The Democratic nominee for New York City Mayor Eric Adams, a former cop, says he thinks there needs to be an assessment done of how cities are using police officers, noting that too many officers are doing clerical duty or patrolling in groups. Martin, your thoughts?
You know, there might be a little bit to that, but you know, there needs to be more police officers. There needs to be backing of the police officers. As your guest just said, there needs to be this stop turning criminals into folk heroes and cops into criminals. So, you know, just get your fundamentals down. You know, get your prosecutor prosecuting criminals, put bad guys in jail, get them off the street. Right now, the bad guys feel like they can get away with what they want.
Right.
And it's reaching a crisis point. It really is. It has reached a crisis point.
Gentlemen, we have to leave it there. Thanks so much for your time and your analysis.
Thank you, Mike.